Hey there, everybody. I hope you are doing well. I am Afefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. If you're new to the channel, I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you like what you hear and see. Hit that like and subscribe button. Glad to have you here. Would love to have you on board. Existing subscribers and members, I can never start a video without absolutely telling you how much I appreciate your support for the channel. Your presence, your intelligence. I love the comments. I love the respect and the community that we're growing here. That is one of my objectives and hopes and prayers for this channel, is that it's not just about me going to spirit and the cards and all of that, although I love doing it. It's my jam. But it is also a space that I'm trying to create for voices to be heard and exchanges to be had, right? So keep that in mind. I want this to be a safe space. I want it to be a respectful space. And it has been in large part thanks to those of you who come back. So really, really appreciate you more than these few words can say. That said, again, if you're not familiar with me, I am a tarot reader and oracle reader. Been doing it for almost 30 years now. I am an initiated priestess in both pagan and African traditions, and I'm also a former newspaper journalist. So that kind of, informs the way that I approach my readings, right? Mixing that sort of grounded reality with spiritual concepts and seeing the big picture, right? Okay, few things actually I want to go to spirit today. Many of us are, by now we've all heard about the murder of the UnitedHealthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, I think is his name. And the guy is the perpetrator is still on the loose. Want to take a look at and see how that's going to go down. I don't know about you. Spirit has been telling me, I'm getting impressions. Number one, there was definitely some sort of personal connection to this. You've heard by now that there were actually permanent ink inscriptions on the bullets having to do with, deny, delay, defend, oppose, something along those lines, where that sort of United Healthcare has come under a lot of fire for denying so many claims, so many health claims, especially from what I understand, Medicare recipients who are a part of that population, who are, as you get older, it stands to reason your needs for healthcare grow. So lots of dynamics going on there. Not a good thing under any circumstances that we're hearing so many people are making a joke of it, laughing emojis, being really snarky and mean about it, regardless of the deplorable state that healthcare is in America. We all, I think, can agree to that. And that it's a ripoff, big pharma, all of it, right? We know that. But still, a man was killed, a husband was killed, a father was killed, right? We got to be, cognizant of that as well. But that said, I'm going to take a sip of tea. I do want to take a look at this killer and see what was his motivation, and also to see if we can't get some understanding of his capture. I'm intuitively, I'm wondering whether, when that time comes, when they catch him, and they will, if they're going to be able to take him alive. But let's see. So we don't know a name, but we certainly have seen the face. We've seen the video, captures of him. So Spirit, please show us more around the background. Two of Wands. At the bottom of the deck with the sun. Yeah, this had to do with, and justice. Okay, thank you, Spirit, being very clear. This was someone who had a gripe. This was something very personal to them. Perhaps I'm feeling that they lost someone, perhaps due to the denial of coverage. This could have been a family member, but someone really close to them. I'm not getting that this was someone hired, like a contract person. I think this was indeed, because the sun is life. Justice is someone who had, basically was putting justice in their own hands. And with the Two of Wands, I think that's more about where he sees himself in the future, or his attempts to escape. I am also wondering, Spirit, has this person left the state of New York? Have they crossed state lines? Have they left the state of New York? Three of Swords. whatever plan they had to escape has had to change already. Six of Pentacles, looking for opportunities. I don't think they're out of the state. I don't think they've been able to get out of the state. I would not be surprised. Spirit, are they actually still in Manhattan? You know, incredibly huge city. Easy to get lost. The Devil. I think he's still there. And he's feeling, again, whatever his plan was to escape, something about that has changed. And he realizes after this has happened, just he knew that there would be a manhunt. He knew that he'd be, sought, etc. But whatever plan he had for escape, something has shifted, something has changed, and it has not gone according to plan. Spirit, will they capture this man in New York? Will he be captured in New York? Queen of Cups. Could have had something to do with his mother. King of Swords. That's the law enforcement. And the Hermit. Looking for a way out. I think there's a good chance he's either going to get captured in New York or just as he's trying to escape. Will he be taken alive? Will this person who killed Brian Thompson, will he be taken alive? Ace of Wands. Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. As I told you, my sense was, I bet this is going to be one where instead of, it's not going to go well. But I think he may in fact be taken alive when they capture him. I don't see that he's actually managed to get escape from New York. And whatever his plan of escape has had to change drastically. And I do feel with that Queen of Cups, there's something, a mother, a grandmother, a sister. He looked pretty young. It was hard to gauge, but you all saw it. He looked pretty young on the video. So not sure about a wife, but there was definitely some personal motivation behind that. And so he's going to be caught. Looks like, as of now, it looks like he's going to be taken alive, which of course means we're going to get a lot more information about it on the back end. Also, notably, there was Blue Cross had a policy, many of you probably heard, they were about to implement a policy regarding restrictions on coverage for anesthesia during surgery, that they would only cover so much time of anesthesia, and that now they've had to, in the wake of this, they've had to reverse course on that, or they've decided to reverse course on that. And I think it has a lot to do with this, the events with UnitedHealthcare. We're going to see clearly a lot more security around executives within these large healthcare organizations, but also this is reverberating deep within their ranks in terms of understanding the degree to which people are truly fed up with how they're being treated with their insured healthcare. All right, moving on. Joe Biden. Preemptive pardons. Yeah. I want to take a look at that, you all, but I think Spirit is saying get ready. Yes, we've all heard the tick 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 about Hunter Biden, and as if he could do anything else as a father, and knowing everything that they've put him through, Hunter through, and that it was not going to let up. It just simply was not going to let up. But now there's talk about these preemptive pardons. The argument against it being that he would be pardoning people who technically have not committed any crimes or who are not under investigation yet. That's why it's preemptive. But at the same time, recognizing that should, I call him Mickey D for the Big Macs. Should Mickey D's administration get in, we're all still hoping for a miracle. I get it. Many of you leave me comments like, okay, FFA, you keep reading in that direction if you want to, but something's going to happen. Kamala will be 47. I would love nothing better. I'm going to get on here and do a party video if that's the case. But so we're going to approach this as plan B, right? So if Mickey D does get in there, you know, clear that the whole idea of, you know, the people that he's chosen and selected for his cabinet and the head of these governmental organizations, they're going after these people. Spirit, will President Biden issue preemptive pardons before he leaves office? Will President Biden, the Wheel of Fortune, it's coming, you all. It's coming. And I love that this came with the real Wheel of Fortune, because this is a card of karma, it's a card of destiny, and it's a card of changing fortunes, changing tide, ruled by Jupiter. So the idea that with the expansion of presidential powers, with the whole SCOTUS decision, right? We all know about that. But I do believe President Biden is like, you know what? I am going to use this, to head some of this off at the pass. Now, some of the criticism, of course, is, well, once you do that, Mickey D's going to say, okay, then I'm going to come in and pardon blah, 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 blah. He's going to do that anyway. The Jan 6 insurrectionists, that was always a part of the plan. You know, that we've heard that since summertime on the campaign trail. That was going to happen. The Four of Pentacles, I feel like, this is a card where the energy is a little stuck. It's a little, I can go so far with it, but not too far. So I think what Spirit is saying here, I'm going to confirm. Yes, President Biden is going to issue some preemptive pardons, but no matter who he pardons and no matter how many he issues, there's still going to be that sense of, you didn't go far enough. You didn't include certain people who should have been included. Spirit, am I right about that? Is that what Joe Biden is facing? Queen of Swords. That's somebody in his ear. Three of Pentacles. Queen of Swords. What am I talking about? Somebody in his ear. That's Kamala Harris, right? Libra, air sign. So that's some discussions that he is having with Kamala Harris, among others, around who to pardon. And the Three of Pentacles are the advisors around him, including Kamala Harris, trying to decide, not only will he do it, but exactly who this is, who they are, who these people will be. We've got the Moon. There's an aspect of this that he's not going to, and the Queen of Wands. There's an aspect of this, you all, where President Biden is going to hold his cards extremely close to the vest in terms of timing, in terms of when this is going to happen, when he will actually issue these pardons before he leaves. There's a measure of protection around the identities of the people and who have been selected. Oh, two cards just came. Ten of Wands and the Five of Swords. You know, this is so interesting. He's such a traditional politician, President Biden, that is, as much as many of us are out here saying, look, here's a whole slew, Jack Smith, Dr. Fauci, Liz Cheney, right? No matter how you feel about it, but, Liz Cheney, Nancy Pelosi, whomever, however you personally feel, there's a list of people who we know Mickey D and company would go after. But there's a part of President Biden, Joe Biden, who even to this day is like, this isn't the way we do this. This isn't typically how pardons are handled, because they're, these people are not charged with crimes. They aren't under investigation, blah, blah. So he's struggling with that a little bit. I think that's what that Five of Swords is about. He really is like, this is not what I'm supposed to do, but given these times, Ten of Wands, the burden of not doing it, the idea that he could have stopped, some of these people's lives from being really torn apart, that's not going to sit well with him. The Princess of Discs, I think that's someone, and the Eight of Cups. As he prepares, this is his family. He's listening to his family as well, and they're encouraging him to get over any doubts that he feels about that he's somehow crossing a line, even though he has the right to do this and issue those pardons. There's a part of him as a traditionalist who is having problems with that, resigning himself to that, or pump. I shouldn't even say resigning, pumping himself up to go ahead and be like, watch me work. I got this much time left in office. Watch me do my thing. He will though, and I think that's him. That Eight of Cups, as he prepares to leave. He will, once he makes these choices, he will do so and absolutely divorce himself from any regrets at his decisions. He moves slowly. Some would say he moves way too slowly. We can even go back to, how long it took him to finally see the writing on the wall and drop out of the race. And the Empress. I always pull this as well for Kamala Harris. She's playing an extremely strong role in this. Excuse me, you all got incense going. I think it's a little strong. She is playing an extremely strong role in this, and I will tell you too, because Joe Biden is feeling not responsible for how things have gone with Kamala Harris, but to some extent responsible, right? His timing, he understands the pressure that she was under. So her voice at this time is definitely being heard, and not just her, but the people around her and that perspective. But I do think the list is going to be long. Spirit, will he ultimately step up and do a pretty inclusive list of people? Prince of Discs, taking his time, going at it slowly. Who needs to be on it? Six of Wands, victory. Yeah. I still think there will be, no matter who's on that list, no matter how many pardons he issues, Spirit is saying there's still going to be well, you should have, and you should have, and you should have, but there will be some very, very powerful moves that he's going to make. Will that include, I'm just interested, will it include Jack Smith? Justice. Boom. I love it. Dr. Fauci. I almost feel like Ace of Wands. I almost said, I was getting ready to say, I almost feel like Mickey D and company have had enough fun with Dr. Fauci, but we got to remember with, what's his name, RFK Jr. coming in, and whatever he's planning to do in the health situation, in his position, Fauci's name would in fact continue to come up. And Temperance. There's a mix. There's going to be a couple of people unexpected on that list. The obvious people like a Liz Cheney or like a Jack Smith, those people that we know should get on that list. But I think Temperance is telling us there's also going to be some people that we did not necessarily expect, because this is a card of alchemy. It's a card of mixing things up a little bit. And I think he's going to, whoever is on this list, there may be a couple of names that weren't necessarily even on our collective radar as obvious choices, okay? But yeah, he's going to make that move, you all. Joe Biden is going to make that move. We can expect to see some pardons coming down the pike. And the last thing that I wanted to take a look at today, we know that Democratic Party, don't even, it's gotta undergo an overhaul, right? And there are people stepping up to bat. Jamie Raskin has stepped up. My last reading, in fact, I was looking at whether Nadler would, and thank you, someone, I was calling him Nadler, and someone was like, you're pronouncing it wrong. But Nadler and some other older people within Congress are starting to say, you know what, we are going to have to step aside and make room. Those who are in those, middle, late 70s, and the idea is, it really is a change for the party, the Democratic Party, because the idea is leadership, seniority. The longer that you're in Congress, then you work up to these positions of power based on your rank as a senior member, and that is not holding any longer. So, Red State Blue Star. I want to take a look, you all, at Greg Casar out of Texas, right? Representative Greg Casar out of Texas, one of the members of the squad, progressive, young guy, 35 years old, same as Alexandria Cortez, right? Ocasio-Cortez. I said AOC as well, and somebody in the comments like, who is AOC? So I'm trying to be cognizant that not everybody is up to the acronyms and things like that. Want to make sure we're being inclusive. But just like her, she's 35. Jasmine Crockett, 43. So we've got a lot of young blood in Congress that is poised and ready to step up. Now, Greg Casar has been appointed as the Progressive Caucus chair. And I'm going to link, I found a really good article about him in terms of, some of the things that he's been saying, some of the points that he's been making. But I'm calling this, Spirit gave me the word retailing, the retailing of the Democratic Party. On its face, that might sound like it sucks, like that's all kinds of messed up. But I think what he's saying, retailing is about making something appealing to a consumer. When we're talking about overhauling the Democratic Party in a way that it reaches those people who, who leaned the other way, especially younger people, especially people who, while women's reproductive rights and civil rights and personal freedoms and social justice, we know about that, but at the end of the day, it's all about me, mine, how much money is in my pocket, who's going to help me first, that whole thing. So he's taking an interesting approach, you all, around how we can sort of balance that out. Yes, the Democratic Party still being the party of democracy, still being the party of ideals, still being the party of social justice and all of those issues, but at the same time tapping into the hearts and minds of people who did feel left out for one reason or another, who didn't see the big picture, who didn't understand American democracy. They just understand me, myself, and I, my family, my folk, my city, my crew, right? I want to take a look at Greg Casar, Spirit. Will he meet with success in convincing other members of Congress, not just squad members, not just progressive members? I also understand that Greg Casar is sort of a protege of Bernie Sanders. King of Discs. I love it. He's starting out, coming in. He's ready. He's prepared. Don't let his age fool any of us, right? He's, as I understand it, he was a 7-year city councilman in Austin, Texas. So he had some decent political chops before he was elected to Congress. I saw a couple of video clips of him. Very, very interesting to listen to. Temperance. Both sides of a situation, that blending, that alchemy again, where on the one hand, so he means it. He's not trying to get in there and just going to flip the script and the Democratic Party, scrap it the way that it is, or, and how it's been operated and the ideals again, but rather incorporate that retailing, refit it, and figure out a way to also add messaging around individual needs, individual wealth, individual taxes, all of those sorts of things. Is he going to distance himself? The hangman, he's trying to walk a tightrope right now and really pay attention, listen to what people are saying, hold meetings. He's going to be in a lot of meetings. He's going to have, he's going to take his time to really step into that role, that King of Pentacles that we saw, step into the role of this Progressive Caucus chair, because the Progressive Caucus, while it was seen, Spirit is saying, while it was seen in large part for many years as sort of the sidebar of Congress, it is about to take center stage, you all. The progressives in Congress are about to take center stage. That call for change, Five of Cups, the disappointment that many people have felt, and justice again. He is the son of Mexican immigrants. I understand his father is a surgeon. He went to, I think, a Jesuit school, Catholic. He's very concerned with not disappointing those who are looking to him to articulate change and not only speak it as a platform, but to actually make those connections. going back to the retailing metaphor, not just making the merchandise look pretty, but getting people to buy it. Really getting people to buy it. Spirit, show me more about his energy and what he's planning to do as this progressive caucus chair. Death, a rebirth. He sees that as his mission, a rebirth of the Democratic Party. So this isn't about, while so many people have been calling for abrupt change, maybe the party just isn't the party anymore and it needs to change. I don't think he sees that. I think he's that King of Discs. I think he respects the tradition, especially with that Justice card as well. I think he respects the tradition of the party. I think he respects and genuinely believes in the principles of the party. The protection of democracy, all the principles that Kamala Harris ran on. I think he sees that. The Inflation Reduction Act, there is some space that Spirit is saying he's going to create between himself and the policies of Joe Biden, but at the same time, Prince of Swords leaning into his voice and his messaging in a new way. He is really going after younger people and galvanizing. I think his plan is to, or his hopes are to galvanize young voters who feel completely left out or angered or not even necessarily excited about government in general and how government is run. So there again, his age is a plus, and he's going to have this coalition around him of these younger congressional people who are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I have the Prince of Wands. There's somebody joining him. And this could be male or female. Excuse me, but there's somebody who's going to join him in retailing the Democratic Party. All right. We have the Five of Wands. Of course, there's going to be that resistance. The old guard is going to say, "Wait a minute, you progressives have always been on that, kind of on that fringe side of the room, and now you want to come in here and just take over." There's some resistance. He's aware of that. Really, really smart guy. He's coming across to me really smart. Six of Swords. And so when they do that, and that Five of Wands come, that pushback from the old guard, he's able to articulate, look, it is what it is, and we have got to figure out a way to move forward, and here's the plan. Here's the marketing plan. Here's the retailing plan. Because going back to temperance, it is about how do we regain or pull some of those voters, especially we got a real tight situation going on in the House. Mike Johnson is not about to have fun right now. Not the fun he thought he was going to have. By no means. He's not going to have fun. And the Senate is not going to, it's not going to be a picnic there either, because they thought they were going to run away with it, and their margin is extremely small. How do they get to 60, right? Isn't 60 the number for them to be able to pass something? So how do they get to 60? They don't have that. So there's going to be this Casar is poised to do that. I'm also hearing some of you are already going to say to me, well, what about AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Is she beginning to position herself for the Senate? I feel like both she and Jasmine Crockett, just because of their platforms and because of the excitement that they generate, the way that their voices have certainly been catapulted during this past election season. I feel like both of them are Greg Casar is doing his thing in the House. I just feel like both of them may have their sights set on the Senate. Am I right about that? Jasmine Crockett, the Empress. Jasmine's going places. She's going places. So yes, she will be an ally. Absolutely, she will be an ally of Casar's and the whole progressive movement within Congress. But she's also she's not going to be just running in the pack. She stands out from the pack, as does AOC. Spirit, is AOC moving towards, or is she aligning herself to move towards the Senate? The Fool. New venture, new area, new venture. Notice both of them got major arcana. the Empress. And that's so, we think about Jasmine, with her hair and her outfits and looking good and her little spice and fiery self, and the Fool going in a new direction. AOC is already 10 steps ahead around what she's going to do. We've watched her continue to mature, continue to refine her persona, her ability to articulate her commitment to her constituency at the same time that she's really learned politics in DC. Really, really exciting to watch them for all of the frustration and anxiety that I know many of us are continuing to undergo. You all, I'm just getting this. It almost feels like a breeze, like standing outside and the trees, are whistling and stuff. There's a lot on the horizon, and it's not going to look the same. It can't look the same. It's not meant to. We're learning some really tough lessons, but there's some really exciting stuff in store for us, and I can't wait to continue to go into it and see it with you all. All right? That's it. Enough of me yapping. I hope this was helpful. Please, feel free to let me have your thoughts. I ask that you be courteous to me and tolerant, and also very much with one another when you do things in the comment section. All right? Be good. I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.